The historic Great Wall is thousands of miles long and built to hold back the tide of history. It was China's hope, but no wall, no matter how mighty, could contain the fury of the Mongols forever. From the steppes of Central Asia came this whirlwind of warriors led by the legendary Genghis Khan. Their hunger was land, riches, and dominion over all they encountered. The year 1205 marked the first taste of Mongol wrath for the Chinese. It began with raids, swift and brutal, along the border. These were no mere bandits, however. Genghis Khan was a master of strategy and logistics and tested his foe. He learned their weaknesses, their strengths, like a wolf stalking its prey before the kill. For their part, the Chinese considered themselves the pinnacle of civilization. Their empire was ancient, wealthy, and steeped in the traditions of Confucianism. They underestimated the Mongol threat, seeing them as barbarians who would inevitably be absorbed into the fabric of Chinese life. How wrong they were. The storm was only just beginning. Before China, Genghis Khan's earliest campaigns focused on enemies closer to home. He united the Mongol tribes, a feat considered impossible by many. He then turned his gaze toward the Islamic world, carving a path of conquest through Persia and Central Asia. Yet, China, with its riches and vastness, remained the ultimate prize. Even before his death in 1227, Genghis Khan set the stage for the conquest of China. His sons and grandsons inherited his ambition, along with his military genius. Among them, Kublai Khan emerged as a leader of exceptional cunning and ruthlessness. He understood that to break China, he had to do more than simply conquer its cities. He had to shatter its spirit. Despite their reputation for brutality, the Mongols were also pragmatic. Kublai Khan employed Chinese engineers and advisors. He adopted gunpowder weapons, siege warfare techniques, and even elements of Chinese administration. This blend of Mongol ferocity and Chinese sophistication proved devastatingly effective. Despite facing an enemy unlike any they had encountered before, China did not simply crumble. Though often fragmented, resistance flared across the country. Loyalist forces rallied to the defense of the Song dynasty, determined to repel the invaders. One name stands out amongst the Chinese defenders, Admiral Zhang Shijie. A brilliant tactician and inspiring leader, he became a symbol of Chinese defiance. Zhang Shijie understood the Mongol way of war. He knew that it could be suicidal to attempt open battles with their swift cavalry. Instead, he employed guerrilla tactics such as striking at supply lines and ambushing patrols. He utilized the terrain to his advantage. Even if small, his victories provided a glimmer of hope during those dark times. One of Zhang Shijie's most famous exploits was the defense of Diaoyu Fortress, a seemingly impregnable stronghold perched on a mountaintop. For months, he and his men held off wave after wave of Mongol attacks, inflicting heavy casualties. Though ultimately forced to retreat, Zhang Shijie's tenacity and tactical brilliance became legendary. Despite the valiant efforts of Zhang Shijie and other Chinese commanders, the Mongol advance seemed inexorable. City after city fell. The Great Walls, symbols of Chinese strength, were breached time and again. The Mongols employed superior siege weaponry, including catapults that could hurl boulders the size of small cars. Xiangyang was a strategically vital city, guarding a key crossing of the Yangtze River, and became a focal point of the conflict. For 6 long years, it withstood a relentless Mongol siege. The defenders held on with incredible tenacity, but the sheer might of the Mongol war machine eventually prevailed. The fall of Xiangyang in 1273 marked a turning point in the war. With the Yangtze River defenses shattered, the Mongols poured into southern China. Kublai Khan, ever the pragmatist, offered terms of surrender to the Song court. He promised a degree of autonomy and protection for the Chinese people in exchange for their submission. These offers, however, were rebuffed. The Song emperor, a mere child, along with his advisors, clung to the belief that they could somehow repel the invaders. The final act of the Song dynasty was tragic and dramatic. As the Mongols closed in on Linan, desperation gripped the court. Some advocated for a last stand, and others urged the emperor to flee. In 1276, the Dowager Empress chose surrender, and the boy emperor was delivered into Kublai Khan's custody. After a long rule of more than 3 centuries, the Song dynasty ended. With the previous dynasty vanquished, Kublai Khan became the undisputed master of China. He declared the Yuan dynasty, marking a new era. For the first time, all of China was ruled by a foreign power. Once nomads, the Mongols were now emperors of China. Kublai Khan proved to be a shrewd ruler. He balanced Mongol dominance with Chinese sensibilities. He adopted the Chinese calendar, promoted trade and infrastructure, and introduced paper currency. The Yuan dynasty had a profound impact on China. It ushered in cultural exchange and innovation. The Mongols were gradually assimilated into Chinese society. Yet, their rule saw periods of oppression and resentment. In the mid-14th century, a Han-Chinese rebellion overthrew the Yuan dynasty. Yet the memory of Kublai Khan and the Mongol conquest remains pivotal in Chinese history, a reminder of China's resilience and vulnerability. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Trotastoria to continue learning from the annals of history.